to my channel. I have somebody to introduce to y'all today. This is Ellia Catherine. She's a squirmy worm right now. I think she has a gas bubble in there. She's working out. So she is, I'm trying to think of how old she is. I think she's 10 days old today. So far, we're doing pretty good. So I'm gonna back up. I'm gonna tell you about how it came to be that she was born already. So on, I don't know what day it was. She was born on the 30th of May. So the day before that, the night before that, I started having contractions. We were doing like a family movie night, and it was kind of, we got it started late. We were watching the Lego Batman movie, which, you know, thrilled my kids totally because they love Batman and all the superheroes. So we were watching that, and I was laying on the couch and just started having contractions. And I was thinking, you know, Braxton Hicks, whatever. But for some reason, don't ask me why, but I started timing them. And they were like, not regular, they were like 8 minutes apart, 6 minutes apart, 10 minutes apart, 17 minutes apart. Just kind of more steady than I would have liked them to be. Like usually I would have a couple and then they would stop or whatever. So it was about 9:30, we put the kids to bed, and you know, I thought I'm gonna go to the bathroom because sometimes when I would need to go to the bathroom, I would have contractions. So I did that and still kept having contractions. And I thought, well, I'm gonna drink a lot of water, which I did. I'm gonna go lay down because they always say lay down on your side, whatever. Tried that, still kept having them. So about that time, my husband's like, I'm going to pack a bag for himself because I had everyone else packed up for a couple weeks already. So, and this was, I was 37 weeks and 1 day at this point. And so we debated, you know, we live 30 minutes away from the hospital. The kids are already asleep. We're gonna have to pack everyone up and go haul them down to my mom's house and all this stuff. Like, she lives by the hospital, so, you know, it's just kind of gonna be a lot of rigmarole to do if this was a false alarm, and I really didn't want it to be a false alarm. Like, I didn't want to go to the hospital if it wasn't the real deal. So, but knowing I was gonna have a C-section, you know, I don't think they want you contracting a whole lot, you know, that kind of thing. So we decided to go. So I went and took a quick shower thinking maybe it'll stop if I relax a little bit. Didn't stop. And actually, about the time I laid down, they were like 2-3 minutes apart pretty consistently. So that was kind of like, okay, this isn't a good idea. You know, we really need to go. So we went, my husband was like, you get ready, you go sit in the van, and I'm going to go get the kids, which getting the kids up was a little bit of a challenge because they were already asleep, but they did pretty well. So we got them all in there, loaded them up, drove down to my mom's house. My husband unloaded them there, which really I think they got out by themselves. They were kind of a little bit awake, you know. And so we went down to the hospital, and they told us basically they would monitor me for an hour, so they put me on a monitor. My doctor was not the on-call doctor at that time, and this was about 11 o'clock at night by that point, 11:30. So, man, this is the long version. I am so sorry. I'm sleep deprived, people, so bear with me. So anyway, they put me on the monitor. Then at one point they decided her heart rate was kind of dipping when I was having contractions, so that was a concern. So they had to call out someone to do an ultrasound in the middle of the night, around 12 or 12:30 or 1, I don't know. We did an ultrasound, and that came out okay. They seemed like she was doing fine. They have like a certain test, like criteria they have to meet, and it was 8 points, and she met all 8, so she was doing okay. I was still having contractions 2 to 3 minutes apart. They started slowing down, so they were like 2 to 6 minutes apart. They weren't as intense, but they were still coming, you know, pretty regularly. So at that point, they decided to admit me because the on-call doctor was like, well, she's 37 weeks, you know, like kind of like leave it up to her doctor kind of thing. So, but they're not going to send you home when you're contracting like you are, and they don't want you contracting like that on an old C-section incision. So basically, by the time we got to our room, it was probably about 3 o'clock in the morning. We've had no sleep. Pretty much they hooked me up to a monitor in there, got me changed and all kind of thing. Well, I was already in a robe, I think, at that point. But Anyway, we got in a room and everything, and just kind of were like waiting to know what they were going to do, what my doctor was going to do about me, the situation, whatever. So about 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning, they come in and tell me that I'm going to be the 7:30 C-section girl. So I was like, okay, good. You know, like, game over. Let's get it done. So my C-section actually went very well. It was probably my best one that I've had as far as like comfortability. I think my first one with Everett, it was an emergency C-section. I was scared to death, and it was like C-section on speed. Like they told me around 4:30 I was having a baby, and at 5:03 he was born. So that was a pretty fast process. And with my girls, my water broke, so I knew we were done. But that was the one where I threw up on the table, and the anesthesia guy wasn't watching, so I'm like gurgling in my puke and about to aspirate and can't breathe, you know, kind of thing. That was very terrifying. So this go around, I had the husband on standby, like knowing that could happen and watching for it. The anesthesia guy was very attentive. He was awesome. So between the two of them, we communicated, well, between the three of us, we communicated well. And when I felt that coming on, we took care of it twice with no problem. So I wasn't like sitting there with that feeling of I'm gonna choke and die on the table, you know. So so that part was good. When it came time, there, like, got her out, came time to weigh her, we got a bit of a surprise, because, you know, I was thinking this was going to be my biggest baby yet, because I made it the furthest with her. My other ones, I was 36 weeks and 34 weeks. So Elin was my littlest. She was 3 pounds 12 ounces. Evangeline was my biggest. She was 5 pounds 2 ounces, and Everett was 5 pounds. So they weigh her in grams first, and she's like 200 and something grams, I think. Don't 220 something, I don't know. I don't do grams. So, you know, whatever. But then they call it out in pounds. 4 pounds 14 ounces. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? She's 37 weeks. What? Cannot believe how tiny this little one came out. She is so little. So that was a pleasant surprise, I guess you could say. My first thought was, great, she's going to NICU, but she missed it by like half a pound. So praise God, she did not go to NICU, which had been a big prayer of mine, because I did not want to leave my baby in the hospital this go round like I had to with my girls. So that wasn't an issue. She was okay in every way. I would say the complications I had with my C-section were, number one, I can't take NSAIDs, so no anti-inflammatories for me. Pretty much my pain medicine was Tylenol and hydrocodone based, whatever you call that. I don't know. Whatever. But it was not cutting it as far as pain-wise. Well, first of all, I was on the Demerol pump. But the way they explained it to me and the way I understood it in my loopy state was, if you keep pushing the button, you're going to run out of pain medicine. I thought they meant like completely. Well, they meant from dose to dose. Well, I'm loopy and can't understand that. So I would like fall asleep, wake up in pain, and be afraid to push the button because I don't want to run out of pain medicine. And they're like, well, you have some pushes left before you run out. And I'm like, too loopy. I mean, I've done this. This is not my first rodeo, y'all. But in my loopy state, I just couldn't figure out that. So my pain from day one, from moment one, after the fact, was not managed well by me, the loopy girl who did not need to be in charge of pain. Well, then we switched to the pain medicine you take by mouth. And basically, it's a 4-hour med, which was not always brought to me at 4 hours because it's pain medicine as needed. So you have to tell them when you need it. So we were not on top of that situation, didn't know that was even the case, just kind of expected them to bring the medicine, and they weren't. So like we had to keep saying, hey, pain meds. Well, it was wearing off at 3 hours and 30 minutes. Well, sometimes I lapsed to the next. It would be like an hour before I got it. So like 5 hours. So I spent a good deal of time in pain during the hospital thing. And then I had like the trapped gas issue. Horrible. Took every oral thing, like milk of magnesia and the Mylicon tablets, and walked. I was the only mama up walking the hallways doing laps anytime. I never saw another mama the whole time I was there, and it was a busy time. They were telling me they had babies coming out left and right. No mamas were walking, only me. But I had this horrible thing and it was not going away. So finally, we did find a remedy for that. It was not pleasant, but it worked. And once that problem, it was causing me so much, I was having like gas pain in my ribs, like where I couldn't breathe. And it was very painful. Another complication, I guess you could say I had was, I think that's pretty normal. I've had that with all of mine, but it never was so severe that the other medicines they gave me were not working to get rid of that. And I did walk a lot with both of my other ones and it helped. So this was just a different animal, like just a really bad case, I guess. So it was extremely uncomfortable. I finally got to the point where I had that was my first emotional breakdown in the hospital, was I cannot take the pain of trying to breathe and not being able to get my breath deep enough because it hurts so bad. And I had dealt with it for like a whole day and just was done. So I start crying and my husband finally called the nurse and was like, we need the last resort option here because she can't take it anymore. And y'all, I have a high tolerance for pain. I really do. So when I'm complaining, it's not because I'm a wimp. It's not because I'm whatever. I really was having enough. And so then I'm crying, sobbing with pain in my ribs. So I felt like I was like literally on my last breath because I'm like, every time I'm doing, it's like painful, you know. So I was just like so done with that. And so finally we got that problem solved. That was better. Well, then the next day my milk came in and I was horribly engorged. And I just hate that engorgement issue. It's bad. And I don't have like enough milk to feed twins every time I have a baby, which is a wonderful problem to have. But it's just uncomfortable. And so I finally, this is the first pregnancy I actually got to talk to the lactation lady while I was at the hospital, which was nice. So she told me what to do to work that issue out. And after a day or two, it worked out. We went home from the hospital on Friday. And my pain was still not managed at that point. So it was in a lot of pain. Well, like basically I came home and there was nowhere comfortable to be. You know, I had spent the last few days when I wasn't in walking around or whatever, I was in a hospital bed that you can sit up to get out of. Well, here, our couch is like, you sit down on it and you just sink in the couch. So that was painful. Like, I couldn't handle that. And then the chairs that we have were not comfortable. I couldn't get in and out of the bed because I couldn't get myself to a sitting position first. It was a hard day and a half before I finally figured out I could sit on my love seat. I slept on the love seat because it was just better to get up and down from. I nursed on the love seat. Once I found a comfortable place, I really feel like my process of healing, and once we got the pain medicine every 4 hours, it was much better. I also had the biggest complication I had was above my incision. My incision was great. Really, the C-section pain I had was not the issue. I had a case of, I guess you'd call it, the doctor called it cellulitis above, like on my stomach above my incision. So it's basically like a little skin infection. But I felt like my nerve endings were raw. And though I was taking pain medicine, it was not touching the uncomfortability of having pressure on my skin. So I came home, I've been in a hospital gown or in nursing gowns at the hospital, came home and none of my clothes, even my maternity clothes, I couldn't handle them touching my skin. So I ended up wearing my husband's, and I went from being a size 6 before I was pregnant to maternity clothes to coming home and wearing my husband's size 38 like shorts. That feels real good, you know, on your after baby body, you know. Not a great self-esteem boost there, but hey, it worked for a few days, and then finally that pain lessened. So about 3 or 4 days ago, I really started feeling human again and like myself, and I can at least get in maternity pants without too much uncomfortability. You know, I have quite a bit of swelling in my belly still because I can't take anything that's anti-inflammatory to make swelling and whatever go down. So, you know, but it's all good. She's here. She's precious. She's wonderful. She does this all the time. This is pretty much the mode we're in, is sleep mode, because she's still supposed to be in the belly, technically for another, I don't know, several days. My C-section, my 39-week C-section date isn't until this coming Tuesday, or Monday. So you know, she's just enjoying hanging out, sleeping a whole lot. She basically has 2 wakeful times during the day, and that's it, or during morning, evening. She's done. She's content to sleep. She has started spitting up. All my babies, well, except for Evangeline, have been pretty much spitters. So if I don't get the burp out really well, which she could be either easy to burp or really hard to burp, there's no in between. So if you don't get the burp out, you know it, because she just squirms and is uncomfortable and whiny, and until you get it out, and then she goes back to sleep. It's wonderful. So I really kind of feel like this is a first baby. I guess because it's been so long since we've had a baby. I just feel like I can't take enough pictures. I can't get enough of her cuteness. She's just wonderful. The big kids are loving her. There has been an adjustment there. I think a lot of it is I'm sleep deprived at this point. I have been in pain for a good many days. You know, so not my temper, but my fuse is very short. Like I can only tolerate so much jumping around by me, getting near my incision area. You know, like I'm like, here's the bubble. Stay out of my bubble. You know, or like when I'm nursing and they want to just like be hugging on her while I'm nursing, I'm like, not the time for that. You know, later when I'm not trying to get her to eat or whatever, nurse, whatever you call it, then come and want to be with her, then want to hold her, then want to hug her, then want to kiss her, talk to her, you know. So, but when she has been having those wakeful times, I'm trying to teach them when her eyes are open, when you see her laying there and her eyes are open, sing to her, talk to her. You know, that's the time to really engage with her. So I'm trying to teach them that. We have reinstated quiet time in our house for the purposes of summer, and just I'm noticing that like around the time like 1:30 in the afternoon, we hit meltdown mode. The big kids have been like almost consistently every day. They just hit meltdown mode. They're all yeah, fussy, whiny, can't get along. The world is falling apart over here. I'm like, go to your rooms, go to separate areas of the house, all designated area, whatever. For an hour, we will just have quiet. They can read a book. They can play with toys quietly. When quiet time's over, you can pick up the mess you made, be done. That has been working beautifully, and it's just like a reboot for them. It gives me an hour of peace and quiet. It's been beautiful. I've had a lot of help. My mom stayed with us from Friday night till Tuesday night. She left Wednesday to go back to work and everything. Ricky was home Wednesday and Thursday with me. My big kids went to spend the night with my sister last night, so I've had the morning to myself with just her. And so I've had a lot of help. My mom helped. My sister came and cleaned our house while I was in the hospital, which was very sweet. Like caught us up on laundry completely. Don't know how baby laundry is. It's just constant. You know, you have like yesterday she peed on me on accident. Like her diaper slipped down because she's so tiny. Her diaper slipped down and she peed and kind of pooed on me. So like that was lovely, you know. So it's just laundry is just non-stop around this place. But my mom kept it going. Today I'm gonna like wheel my laundry to the laundry room and kind of make a load so I can have stuff washed, and then my husband can transfer it to the dryer for me. That's my plan for laundry today. Pretty much not doing any cooking or housekeeping except for that. Well, I wiped my counters down this morning in the kitchen because I needed it. But other than that, I'm like laying low, not picking up things, not trying to do things, just tending to the baby. And we've been so blessed. My grandma has cooked us food. I've had friends bring us food. My sister brought us food. She's bringing some food Monday. My other sister's bringing food Tuesday. My best friend's bringing food tonight. So we've been very, very blessed by our friends and family. My grandma brought us food. I don't know if I said that one. So we've just been super, super blessed. You know, our baby needs have been taken care of abundantly. Just we've had people bless us with diapers and wipes and clothes and just all kinds of stuff. So we've been very blessed and set up for this child. We have baby equipment coming out of our ears because I had a friend bring me 2 rock and plays and a swing. We have a pack and play that we have from last time. We're supposed to be getting a bassinet because really the pack and play, it's not quite working out for the configuration of our room this time. A bassinet would be better for me to be able to get in and out of the bed and that kind of thing. So, but we're making that work, and so far so good. So just, we are happy she's here. I'll show you her little, well, I hate to unwrap her because she's so cozy and quiet, but I will unwrap her for you. So you can see her little tiny body. She's now, well, last time we went to the doctor was Friday maybe last week. I can't remember, y'all. I can't keep track of time right now. But she weighed 4 pounds 9 ounces. So she basically, he said she maintained her discharge weight. And hopefully from here she will keep growing and gaining. This is her. She's just a little peanut. A sleepy peanut. And she had jaundice going on pretty good. But we have been putting her in the sunshine and her bilirubin levels are coming down, which is great. So she seems like she's just gonna be a healthy little thing. Okay. So anyway, that's what's been going on in our house the last week and a half. We're excited she's here and we're loving her and everything is going pretty good. So I just wanted you to meet her and thank you for watching. If you like this video, give it some love and we'll be, hopefully the next video I'm going to work on is the Q&A. I had a few people ask us some questions, so we will get to that hopefully maybe this weekend or next week sometime. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.